The station of the stars. RTI.
It certainly is the station of the stars. It is RTI, the one and only. We are here. Good morning, everybody. How are you? I trust you're well. Everything's good. Everything's marvellous. And I think things are working. Yes, they are. It's lovely. It's Eric Wiltsher here at the base of the glorious Tatras Mountains. They are just stunning, covered in snow. Got loads of people to say hello to. Hello to Little Buddha is always here. And to Markham is there. Tommy H is there. Oh, my word. Will's there as well. Oh, you're all there, aren't you? Lovely. Lovely folks. What can I tell you? Nice and wonderful and glorious, just like me. Not before he says anything. As we cross over to the UK, to the young Mr. Banks.
Hello, everybody. Yes, it's Leigh G. Banks at the foot of the village of the damned in the zit of the... We've not used that phrase for ages, you know. The zit of the universe.
No, the zit on the nose of Europe.
No. A zit on the nose of the face of the something.
Right.
Anyway, I've said it now.
Have you?
And you ruined it because you got it wrong.
I didn't get it wrong.
Yes, you did.
I used to say the zit on the nose of Europe.
Oh, yeah, it was on the face of the universe. I've remembered it.
Oh, all right.
Zit on the face of the universe.
Oh. Well, we can't find Rach, boys and girls, so if anybody's about on Facebook, do give Rach a shout and say to her, where are you, dear?
Say, yoo-hoo.
Yoo-hoo. Yoo-hoo.
Yoo-hoo, Rachel.
Rachel, where are you, dear? Are you there? And something's not right with this computer. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to do that again because I'm just like that.
It's very noisy, actually. Your computer.
Is it?
Now it's gone quiet.
I know what it is, Leigh.
What's that, darling?
I have forgotten to turn the fan off.
Oh no! Well, I tell you what. I've just realised my voice is very strange because I'm lying on my back, looking in the air at my computer that's hanging from the ceiling. So while you switch your fan off, I'll sit up.
Well, you do whatever you want to do.
I'm doing sitting up because it's more professional.
Is it?
You can't do everything on your back, Eric.
Right. I think. I'm not sure about this, but I am thinking about it. Because I really don't know.
Well, you go and do your fan. I'll go and plug my thing in.
Right, okay, we'll do. Here we go.
All right. We'll leave you alone for a second, ladies and gentlemen. We'll all be back. I'm pressing my thing. Oh.
What? What are you doing?
I'm putting my thing in. I've told you.
Well, everybody was watching me walking around the studio.
Well, I haven't got a camera because I'm just the poor relative. I have to do everything in blankness.
Oh,
Mr. Blanks, that's what I'm known as.
Yeah, poor little bunny.
Right, anyway, I've plugged it in now, so everything's fine. We're back to being professionals.
Are we? Are you sure about this?
I am.
Oh, okay. Well, sorry, boys and girls, we actually cannot find Rach. I don't know where she is. But as I say, anybody that's around and about, do give her a shout and say, "Oi, what are you doing? What are you doing?"
Say, yoo-hoo!
Yeah, you. That's the word.
He can't do it, ladies. He doesn't have a falsetto like me.
Yoo-hoo.
Yep, yoo-hoo!
I haven't got tight trousers on. Because I haven't. But we've got to do something very important before we start anyway.
Yeah.
Are you ready to sing?
Sing?
Yes.
I can sing anytime you wish.
Really?
I'm ready now.
Right.
What are we going to sing?
Happy birthday.
Who to?
Martina.
Martina! I've said it on Facebook. You're not telling me something I don't know. I've already said it to her.
Well, so have I.
Oh, yeah, but that's because you woke up next to her, probably.
Well, that's probably true. Anyway, so here we go. Just for Martina, who's now going to slap me in a bit. 3, 2, 5. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Birthday to you.
Oh, the digital delay's terrible. Happy birthday, dear Martina. Woof, woof, woof. Happy...
Woof, woof, woof.
That's secret. Happy birthday to you.
That's conjured all sorts of meaning.
Hi to Chris, and you are being monitored, Mr. Banks.
Am I indeed?
You're-
What, for the ConsumerWatchFoundation.com? Is that what he's monitoring me for?
No, your lovely wife, Andrea, is making sure you do not cast aspersions upon her wonderful self in the programme today.
She's been a genius all week.
I know.
I've only sacked her 3 times.
You horrible little person.
Well, it's really awkward. I think this is the sort of thing that business should go into, because actually I am employed by her, but I have the power to sack her.
There's some logic in there somewhere, but it's definitely north of Watford Gap, which I haven't known.
That's almost a racist thing to say, you know.
Oh, don't start me on that.
It is.
I've avoided that this week.
What?
I got so flipping angry.
What about?
This malarkey in England, which I know's wrong,
Yes.
with the MPs and things.
Yes.
I have to admit, I cannot come to England anymore
Why?
because I'll be nicked.
You've been nicked? For
Yes.
what?
Well, because Slovakia is very touchy-feely. Hello, Dorothy.
Hello, Dorothy.
And it is how does one put it? That, it's like the joke of the EU bloke kissing people on the lips.
Yeah.
Chris says, "Happy birthday, Martina. How do you put up with him? Cheeky monkey." Cheeky monkey.
He goes on holiday a lot.
Yeah, probably. So they got that EU bloke, the unelected bloke, kissing everybody on the cheek and things, and
Yes.
it is very normal here.
Yes.
If you see somebody who's upset, you give them a hug, you rub their arms, you touch their anatomy, and it's normal. And
You went too far when you moved on from the arms to the rest of the anatomy. If you only touch your arm, that's all right. It's the rest of the anatomy that matters.
well, the knee.
Pardon?
The knee.
Yeah.
What is unbelievably wrong about when you're sitting having a conversation, you're empathising with somebody and you touch their knee and go, yes, I agree. You sort of go like that. You tap the knee and you go, yes, that's right.
I agree. It's
now-
how many times it was done.
I think it's getting a little bit out of hand. And I have to say, well, you started it. I watched a debate on Sky News about it with 2 ladies. And one of the ladies was, I think she was related to Emily Pankhurst, to
Yes.
say the least. The other lady was very modern, and she said, just say no. And as long as it's not something really untoward, then what you do is you just laugh and walk away. It's as simple as that. And this woman
It is
went.
as simple as that.
This woman this woman went nuts. She went absolutely bonkers. Really?
I can understand that. I can understand why she'd go bonkers about that.
No, but all right. So here's the other thing. You can't hold hands, apparently, according to some of these people. So you see a woman about to slip off the pavement and fall underneath the car. You can't hold her hand and pull her up. How stupid is that?
Well, I've not heard that.
I have.
Well, yes, but going back to what's going on, you're quite right. It is a witch hunt. There is this massive witch hunt. We've not had a witch hunt like this since the 1980s. And this witch hunt is hitting everywhere that has some kind of authority and power, like Hollywood, like the Houses of Parliament, like British judiciary. It's hitting everywhere that matters.
The music industry.
The music industry, absolutely.
Yep.
And if in fact what is being said is right, and I'm absolutely convinced that a very great proportion of it will be, then yes, finally, I've told you this before, I've told everybody before, I spent 30 years ago, years of my life, hunting down Jimmy Savile and Cyril Smith and people like that, Ray Terrett. And I could never prove or show or write what had gone on. Then that was broke. And now the same thing is happening again. If this is what's going on in society, and I know it went on in that particular era, just as you do, then yes, People need to be put right about it.
Yeah.
It's not that Kevin Spacey had a sexual encounter of the homosexual kind. It's nothing to do with that. The sad thing is that all these people are coming out and saying, yes, I did it, but I can't remember. No, and then the next was, yes, I did it, but I'm now off to get medical treatment. That doesn't say this is a man who's saying he's sorry. That's saying a man like Weinstein, who perhaps is just trying to get out of the trouble that he's in.
Correct.
And
well, Steve actually says it's not a witch hunt. Those who are guilty should be prosecuted. And you know what, Steve? I agree. But
but how do you find out who's guilty without completing some? It's not a police inquiry at the moment.
No,
Therefore,
can I just throw something into the mix?
It is a witch hunt.
No, can I just throw something into the mix?
You certainly can.
The British judicial system is so proud of one thing, that you are innocent till proven guilty.
Yes.
It's world famous for it. It's the one thing that people respect the English system for. Now, whilst I don't disagree with Steve that if somebody is guilty, they should be punished, that I agree with. But when they are guilty is after they've gone through the judicial system. Once they've gone through the system, then they're guilty, absolutely right, and they should be punished. However, I know I'm cynical, but it's 2017. Yeah. And I just worry that some people don't just jump on the bandwagon and go, oh, he touched my right knee for 1 millisecond, which makes him a bad person, and I don't agree.
Well, I agree with what you're saying, except there is only one way to get these people to court and for them to go through the judicial system, and that is to expose them for what they've done.
Correct.
You can't they don't just all of a sudden come out and say, yes, I'm guilty, that's it. You have to prove it. And talking about the touching of the knee, which seems to be the focus of all this, what actually happened? Emily Maitlis, was it? I can't remember who it was now, but it was in that ilk, said that she, personally, was very surprised that there had been a resignation over what she exposed.
Right.
And what she said, and what was shown today to have happened, is that in fact everybody said, well, yeah, if it's only touching a knee, something else must have gone on to make this man resign. Read your papers today, it's all coming out. And if these people are in charge of our lives, they have to be better than us.
We're going to give Steve the right of reply, as is my want. Steve says, look at the 80s when all the paedophiles got away with it. They're still protected now.
Well, they aren't, Steve. That's a ludicrous statement. I chased these paedophiles in the 80s, and they did not get away with it. They've all been exposed or in jail. Now it took 30 years. That's the real travesty.
There you go, then. Hello to Miranda, who's with us from the Netherlands. And just to let you know, Miranda, we've got Gaby in here cleaning issues. Like everybody needed to know that.
Hello.
He's laughing now. Anyway, I think this is great news. We start off with something different to the norm. Ian Brady, that evil man, has been sent to a watery grave, being done very quietly. Nobody really knew about it, and I think that was to protect the families of those that lost their loved ones. He was cremated, and then his ashes were poured overboard into the sea. The end.
It's not been quiet. It's been publicised everywhere. It's been publicised for weeks what was going to happen to him.
Yeah, but they didn't say when and where.
Oh, no. Well, what? No, because that would actually, and again, we're in so much agreement, again, because that would have been marking the occasion that Ian Brady finally left this world. And I agree with you. There was no reason to mark it.
Yeah, wait, Steve's dragging us back again. I think this is going to be one of those ITV programmes where they go, fight, fight, fight. Because Steve says, this is to Leigh, I think, rubbish. There are still some ex-MPs who have not been prosecuted.
Well, that's interesting. You see, the problem is you won't be able to name them because you don't know who they are. That's
true.
A simple answer. Yeah. And yes, I am sure there is one man. I'll reveal it now and here. The Consumer Watch Foundation is hunting down a paedophile at this very moment. See, the difference is, Steve, some of us get up and do something about it. And we are hunting down a paedophile who touched up many, many young boys way back in the 1970s. And this man should not be allowed to get away with it. He is amongst the people who are being hunted at this moment. And every single one of them, Steve, should be exposed for what they did.
I think the answer there, Steve, is let Leigh get on with his job and he'll do it for you.
Yeah. I'm not being rude to Steve. I take Steve's point. I'm not being rude to him. But, yes, these people are still being hunted. The police are hunting them. The press are hunting them.
Well, actually, if you think about it, even with... legally, can he be named? No, actually, Steve, he can't. But
Who can't?
Some people can't be named at the moment. And to be honest, a journalist such as Leigh, he ain't going to give that away anyway. And the reason being, he could do 90% of the work, then some little oik who's done absolutely nothing jumps on the bandwagon, gets in there first and nicks his story. And that is not the way journalism should work, but unfortunately in 2017 it does work like that.
Is Steve asking me to name this man?
Yes, and you can't.
Yeah, well, I can. I could name him here and now if I wanted to.
Yes.
You know what? I've named him to the police. I've named him to the organisation that he was involved with. And Eric's quite right. But it's not only the fact that somebody would steal the glory of the story. It's a simple fact that at this moment, we don't really know if he is guilty. And it is our job to find out if he's guilty.
Correct.
Then he will be named.
That's the difference. It's the total difference. There's so many... I think somebody called it trial by social media recently. And you cannot do that. A professional journalist will look, and even though he knows somebody's bad, Steve, they will try their utmost to clear their head of that. And they will look for the facts for and against. Once they've done all the research, then they will come out. And until that point, they won't. And if they find there's nothing there, they won't do it. But if they find one speck of evidence, bingo, they're in.
Can I just drop something in here quickly? I'm not going to name this organisation, not because I can't name them, but because it would be the wrong time to name them.
Okay.
This organisation, which will be exposed along with this paedophile if everything works out the way it should, and I'm absolutely convinced it will, has refused. There is a victim of sexual abuse. I'm not even going to indicate what went on.
No, don't do that.
And he has wanted this particular international organisation to give him some very basic information, just so that he can get it into his head.
And I will back Leigh up here. They have refused.
They refused to say when a particular building was opened and when that particular building was closed. That's all he was asking. Yep. Simple as that. When
Absolutely.
was a building... and this organisation, knowing that this man is a victim, have refused to give any information out at all. Now, that doesn't say to me that this organisation is clean and wonderful and shiny. It says to me that this organisation is hiding something.
Correct. Hello to Penny, who's just joined us as well. She likes her name mentioned, does Penny. Moving along to... I was bemused by this week. Most of the media went into a big one again about Derek Robinson, better known to some of us. Hang on, just do this. Well, I think Steve's agreeing with you. That's disgraceful. It suggests a cover-up. That's what Leigh's saying, Steve, and that's what I'm saying. And so we now leave Leigh to get on with what he's good at. And affectionately, I say this affectionately, a couple of people that know him, we call him the Rottweiler. And there's a damn good reason for that.
He's going to look like a dog.
Well, there is that to it as well. Anyway, Derek Robinson probably means nothing to anybody. Died at the age of 90. And he was known as Red Robbo in the 1970s. The funny thing is, he wasn't anything important. But
was.
But it could be argued. Oh, Steve is wishing you good luck, Leigh. There you go. You're all friends
Thank
again.
you very much, Steve.
There you go. And he was a shop steward's convener at the lamented British Leyland Longbridge Works in Birmingham.
Yeah.
He took them out on strike so many times. I think it was 523 disputes that that he produced, which was a massive increase on previous things. And do you know what? I've got this crazy feeling that not just him, but him and his cronies are actually guilty of killing the UK car industry.
I think that's exactly why the story's on the page, because he did that. He wiped out so much of what and he was bombastic, he was a bully, he was aggressive, and he
wasn't very nice at all, was he, really?
No, not in any way, shape or form. And it's not that I'd necessarily disagree with the beginnings of his political views, but very much like his political views were very much like Corbyn's. They were esoteric. They couldn't really work within our society, and he did so much damage to British industry.
Yep.
It's absolutely shameful.
Absolutely. Hi to Mike Roberts and who else have we got down there? There's too many of it. Oh, Richard Edwards has just joined us as well. I have boys and girls. Culture is not my place. When they issued the culture stamps, I didn't even get one on second class or third class or fourth class. I got absolutely nothing. So I'm going to just let Leigh waffle for a minute. If he goes on too long, I'll pull the fader down. Anyway, a young... is that a girl? Yes, it's Marie.
Marie McInnes, yeah.
Yeah, died at the age of 92. I just see something funny. I like you. He says, Eric, I'm too young to remember that one, so I can't argue with you on that one, sadly. I like you. Round of applause for Steve.
Yeah, well said, Steve.
Round of applause for Steve.
Steve. Where's he from?
I don't know. Where are you from, Steve? Let us know.
Yeah,
kind of just plickety-plink type.
Kill yourself.
Marie McInnes. Come on, Mr. Banks.
Well, I put this in for Rachel, actually, but she's not here.
No.
So, yes, I don't know. Marie McInnes, all I know about her is that she was a poet and author, and she was one of these spectacularly strange poets and authors who disappeared from the limelight for 30 years and then finally came back with a book which was called Herring, Oatmeal, Milk and Salt, which had nothing to do with recipes. It was about poetry.
Oh, right.
And,
so have we done that then?
Yeah, I've done her.
Right. Steve's from Liverpool, by the way.
Oh, no, Steve, that's why we argue. I'm from Manchester.
Has he nicked your wheels?
No, he's got me hubcaps, though.
Sorry, boys and girls around the world. That is a terribly in joke of Brits. Because the standing joke is, where's your car in Liverpool? On bricks. Someone's nicked...
I'm sorry, Steve, he led me into that.
Richard Wilbur.
Never heard of him either.
Well, he's passed by, so sad things to his family.
No, he was America's first poet laureate, let's be fair. Is that naughty Steve?
Yeah, he says, oh dear, you beat me to it about the wheels. Oh, I love it. Again, the British newspapers are completely bonkers because they're all whinging and moaning because it was minus 0.4 degrees this week.
It wasn't, though. It wasn't.
It was.
It was. Well, it might have been in certain places. It wasn't here in the village of the damned.
But that's nothing anyway.
Well, what do you mean the village of the damned isn't anything? It's
no, minus 0.4 degrees Celsius is absolutely nothing. Isn't it, Ron, who's just joined us? Where have you been, Ron? You're late.
I do a Ron. Yeah, it isn't. It's nothing, is it? I swam in Poprad in minus 15.
Minus 15? Yeah. Uh-oh. Now we're in deep trouble.
Oh, heck.
We are in deep trouble.
Who started on us now?
Nobody, but we have got the boss man from the US of A, who's on the radio on RTI tonight. Mr. Rick Wigley is there, and if we put
Rick.
1 foot out of place, he will. Oh, he'll crush a grape.
Yes, he'll tell that Mr. Trumpington, and he'll come and get it.
Apparently, the allegedly cold snap is set to last until Bonfire Nights, which is on Sunday. It's where it's amazing. I love fireworks. But anyway, pyrotechnics here. And the Met Office said it could be a chilly evening. Ooh.
No. Is it? But it hasn't happened.
No, it won't. It's not cold. I'll tell you what cold is. -26. That's cold.
That's cold. That's cold.
Yes.
It's got it's shiny and bright, and like I've said before, all the village of the Danders are out throwing things at the sun because they've not seen it before. And they're absolutely wrong. Whatever it was the Met Office who put this story out, and it's just wrong. It might be a bit chilly in certain places, -0.4. Terrible.
Absolutely. Something it was a bit of a. I had to sort of read this twice because I am a slightly more mature person, allegedly. And then I thought, you know what? This is right. It makes sense.
What?
First-time buyers in the UK have had this very, very tiny 0.25% interest rate for just about 10 years. Yeah, and of course, they put the rate up yesterday, and typically sort of like 80 quid a month or something people have got to find now. But
no, it's not that much.
It's for your average, if you take the whole average across the UK.
Average mortgage is £175, and it's put an extra 30 quid on your bill. The problem is you're now going to face 2 more rises fairly quickly, and that's going to put about £100 on your bill.
Absolutely.
And £100 is a lot of money to some people.
Yep, it was the same in the 1980s, chaps. But it is true that I went through a phase with one house where I didn't get into... I mean, I went in at something like 15%. It plummeted down to about 2%, then rocketed up to 17 again. And, over that gap in the middle, there was bliss. And then all of a sudden I'm going, I can't go to the shops. I ain't got any money.
My mortgage at that period went up from £350 a month to £760.
All right. Ron wishes it to be known that Ron is here from Eastbourne. Hello, Eastbourne.
Eastbourne's nice.
I'm going to get one of those electronic maps. I'm going to get one of those electronic maps one day. Put it up in the studio to find out where everybody is. But anyway, the Bank of England Monetary Policy Committee put the rates up. The reason they did that is because the inflation rate is going a bit hard, and they want to put it back into order again. So it keeps the inflation rate at around 2%. I just think, knowing Brits, all that's going to happen is a lot more credit cards will be taken out.
I think that's a very good point. And the problem is, and nobody's ever been able to explain this, everybody knows that it happens and people know the mechanical reasons of why it happens. But if interest rates are at 0.5% or even 1%, as they'll get to in the next few months, why does it cost you 6%, 7% to get a loan?
I know, it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
it is absolutely ridiculous. It's a rip-off.
That is a rip-off.
I've got to say...
Listeners, a question. Can anybody out there tell me if anywhere in the UK is freezing? I don't believe it is.
Nah, it's not freezing there.
That's what I've just said.
It's not anywhere in the UK. It's just like leaving your door open. A little bit of draft. Gaby says, the shoes are done, boss. Shiny for next weekend when he's going out with a young lady. I made him clean his shoes. Anyway, this I find just despicable and below the line completely. A con man who said his family died in the Grenfell Tower blaze, which is an awful fire in London, has lied so that he could put thousands of pounds from a fund in his pocket. The good news is he's been nicked.
Well, that's it, isn't it? And, he's a serial fraudster. He's done this loads of times. I think it's 52 other offences he's got. And he had the absolute audacity. It's not even audacity. I can't think of the right word.
It's just offensive.
Yeah, to actually make up a dead family, invent a dead family, and then go and beg money that he didn't need off people who didn't need it.
Correct.
This man is despicable.
Yeah.
And what's his name?
I'm not even... No, because that's what he likes.
It isn't what he likes. He likes other people's money.
But he also likes the notoriety because he's been on television many times saying what a terrible thing's been going on.
Yes.
And I agree with Steve. He said it should be maximum punishment for him, which is absolutely...
But he should be named. Why would you not name this man? So by giving him anonymity...
Anonymity.
Again.
Okay, Mr. Negian.
Yeah. And new Nigium.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, as we get towards the end of part one, I'm going to do something I just think is awesome. The big yen from Glasgow. The big yen. Billy Connolly is now Sir Billy Connolly.
Yeah.
I have to say, I cannot even get close to somewhere else where I've sat in a theatre for 2 hours and I've come out with tummy pains because I was laughing so much. He is just awesome. Actually, Steve agrees with me, by the way. Don't give the bad boy publicity by naming him. Sorry, Steve, done it now. Too late.
So then you go out and do it again when nobody knows who he is.
Yeah, that's right. Anyway.
Can I tell you a true story about Billy Connolly?
Well, no, first of all, can I just remind everybody that if Billy's not around on the TV very much, it is because he's slightly ill. We know that. He's had Parkinson's for a long time now. And he's 75 years old anyway. And typical... 4 hours with Ken Dodd. How tickled I am. Yes, that works. But no, honestly, Sir Billy was just the fun. I'm not allowed, nor would I do it as a professional broadcaster. The song that he sang as he came in was a 2-minute long song, and he only had one word in it. The F word. And he sang this song for 2 minutes. Everybody was in hysterics. It's, I know it's the way I tell them, is the old adage from years ago. But the fact is, he could do that and make it funny.
Well, that's right. Let me tell you, I met him less than 2 years ago in New York.
No.
Yes, of course. You never listen to anything I tell you, do you?
No.
Yes. We were walking down Broad Street, not Broad Street, I can't remember, 52nd Street, I think it was. And people will agree that I'm not showing off, but I have long grey hair and I wear circular glasses and I have a little beard. And as we're walking down the road, I saw this bloke.
Like Billy Connolly?
Yeah, this bloke who had long grey hair, round glasses and a little beard was looking at me, and I'm looking at him thinking he looks like me, and you can see he was looking at me thinking he looks like me. And so as we walked past, I just said in a joke, "No, I am Billy Connolly." And he turned round, this is the God's honest truth, if Billy was here he would dead. He just turned round to me and said, "No, I am Billy Connolly." And we did the whole routine for a couple of minutes on the street. Then we shook hands and went our own way. He was lovely. And the thing is, to be honest, he didn't look very ill at all. I hope that his health is really keeping up because he looked really good.
That's magic if he did that. And all he said when he received the honour is, it was kind of weird. Because he's never precocious and never sort of... I know he's probably...
a bit old to be precocious.
But I should imagine he's a multi-millionaire by now anyway. But he's always down-to-earth Billy. You know, he's not. He's not some pompous person that started with nothing, and then as they get bigger and bigger, they get all pompous, which I find very insulting. But he's not. He's just been, and he's been normal. But the one thing about Billy Connolly, he is sharper than a razor blade when it comes to ad hoc comments. The way he can put down hecklers is just brilliant.
That's it. Yeah, that's the example I was giving. It was just the spur of the moment, and he was happy, I was happy, everybody was laughing. It was just a really good thing, and he did that, and he did it on the spur of the moment, and he wasn't too big or showing off too much.
Someone's just come into your studio.
I know. It was supposed to be secret. It's a ghost. It's out. Oh, you see the ghost then?
Yeah, right. That's the funniest ghost I've ever seen. With long hair. Anyway, that's another story. Oh no, I'm not going to do a break today. We're going to be commercial free because we can. Just for a change. And we've got lots more stories to get through. This is just surreal. I don't get it. Prue Leith is the judge of the, miniature version of the Great British Bake Off. It hasn't really taken off on Channel 4 the way it did on the BBC. And she actually tweeted, she did a tweet, she tweeted who the winner of the show was before it had been broadcast.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, I think it was a senior moment. She is 77, you know.
Well, there is that to it. And what I don't get, because I would have told everybody, Sky News decided not to spoil the thrill of the unknown and not mention it.
But everybody knew anyway, because it was all over that social media thing that we both love so much.
It was. Question, Eric. Uh-oh. Are you also broadcasting on AM? No.
No.
No, Ron. That's finitoed. Finished.
What do you mean, Ron?
Ron. Do you know what AM stands for now? Ancient modulation.
It does.
And it is pretty ancient now. In fact, in Slovakia, Ron, there is no AM at all. It was switched off 6 or 7 years ago. And what they did was superb. And I'm sorry to anybody who knows the story. They turned it off. And then they did this big news announcement about 2 weeks later. We are going to turn it off. And then people complained after the press announcements had gone out. They didn't complain in the 2 weeks before.
That's people for you, innit? That's people.
Well, nobody complained.
I can get AM.
Yeah, but you're in England. They've still got old-fashioned people there.
Thank you very much.
But it's true.
I'm not an old-fashioned person.
I'm not suggesting for 1 minute you are. But there's two things. There are old-fashioned people. But secondly, the corporate radio groups, they daren't let go because they might lose a listener if they give one of their AM channels back.
And it could be the only listener they've got.
Well, that's very true, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So, no, Ron, we wouldn't. And as it's an incredibly long story about FM. We were on FM with RTI once, and we were closed down for broadcasting in English.
Which was funny because it was an English station.
Yeah, I'll clear my throat again. But we are back now.
Do you know what? Very quickly.
Do you know? No, shall I tell you what's funny?
Oh, what? Tell me.
We are on FM.
I know.
Right now, this minute. Hello, New Zealand.
Hello, New Zealand.
We're on FM down there, Ron. And we're
I think we should publish a story what happened to RTI FM in the Consumer Watch Foundation very soon.
If you want, I suppose.
Yeah.
Hello to Barry Joseph, my old mate Barry Joseph. Oh, and hello Israel, shalom. Tim Scrimshaw's there. Yeah.
Hello.
Chris Flowers. Steve's a very good correspondent today, you know. He's doing a wonderful job. We might have to send him a packet of biscuits. Steve says, I don't even have a traditional, it's not traditional, it's old radio. You get better quality online. I couldn't agree with you more, Steve. I couldn't agree. Where I have a slight issue, and it has to be said, the Broken Biscuit Corporation are probably the worst. Hi, Tim. They are the world's worst. As one of my old broadcasting mates phoned me and said, Eric, is my smartphone broken? I said, why is that, mate? He said, well, as I go north of Birmingham, I lose this station, then I lose Radio 1, but I've still got you. How come? It's a smartphone. It's on the interweb. And I said, yes, that's because they do this.
Rid of him.
They do this, those ones do that one, and we do this one. And I'm not saying what they are in the public domain. I'm not. But it is a fact that as you go out onto the hilly bits north of Birmingham, you can still hear RTI and you can't hear the Bath Bun Company. Funny that.
Hilly bits near Birmingham.
Well, no, there are roads out of it, of course. Thousands of people are going to be in trouble, we think, and I would be one of them, who use cash machines because the ATM usage in the UK has fallen through the floor due to online banking and purchasing online. The link system is going to be chopped back so much, and I am really worried about it. I genuinely am worried. Well, if you think about it, I don't have money I'm rubbish. It's better for me not to have money, Leigh.
I'm the same. I'm like the Queen.
Yes.
Or, I suppose in my case I'd have to be the King.
Yes.
But I don't...
No.
The glorious Andrea has all the dosh.
Queen.
And she... And
thinking about it, Queen. Queen, yes. Queen.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I don't mind being a queen. I have no problems with that. And, she gives me money. She handles all the way. And there, but what it is, and I know it's the same with you, if anything goes wrong with the money, you're not in trouble. I'm not in trouble. They're in trouble.
No, it's still my trouble. But I have to tell you, and you see a possibility of internations getting their time soon to okay, Ron says thank you for the answer, Leigh. I'll come to that in a minute for you, Ron, but we'll finish the ATM thing first, because I do think it's quite serious. The banking industry in the UK, yes, and don't start on the bankers and what they got bailed out and all that. The fact is the high street banks were overloaded. There was way too many of them. There was way too many people working in banks that have been there for decades, same positions, and computers had taken over. So there wasn't time, there just wasn't the work for people. But the ATM and the link system especially, which gives the free access to your cash, is a lifesaver in small villages and small towns because there's no bank. How do you pay the local butcher? You get your credit card out every time for a bag of sausages? Nah.
Well, you do, don't you? You do. That's the thing.
But it costs the poor butcher a fortune, and you'd be better off to give him the money. Because that gives the free cashing. For God's sake, people, please don't get rid of the link. Keep at least one link system in a small village. Keep a link system in a tiny town. Keep them there.
Well, but there's also other things you can do. Like we have, I won't name the company, but we have a cash card.
Yes.
And what you do is you put money. You do this technologically by doing something with your phone, and then you hear money go onto this card.
Yes.
And you use that card, and there's no choice taken as cash. And that's a really good way of doing it.
Yeah, but there's people that can't. I tell you what, perfect example. You are hammered now.
I'm nothing.
You are hammered, young man. The bottom line is we got into trouble with British Telecom about 4 or 5 years ago.
Yes.
Because they phoned up and said, please stop saying BT hasn't got any engineers. Do you remember? Yes. And Leigh was rabbiting on about how disgusting it was that a local post office to him didn't have internet access, which is what they used to verify payments. So the old people couldn't get any cash out to buy their food, and basically the shopkeeper was lending them the money until the internet got fixed so that these old people could eat.
Yeah.
Now, this is exactly the same with the ATMs.
I think I can see where you're coming from on it, yeah. And the problem is, like, for instance, in a village like the Village of the Damned. By the way, I've discovered that people in the Village of the Damned don't like me describing it as the Village of the Damned. Well, the reason I describe it as the Village of the Damned is because it's the Village of the Damned. And in our local post office in the Village of the Damned, that is the only link that the older people in this village have, like you say, to the outside world, particularly as this village is prone to get cut off in winter. So really, yes, we need to look after people and not just treat everything as a financial consideration.
Yep, I quite agree. Ron's responded to my answer about frequency stuff. Oh, Steve's on a flyer today. I'll come to that in a minute, Steve. Ron says, thanks for that, Eric. You're very welcome, Ron. When an AM frequencies are empty, can you see any possibility of internet radio stations getting airtime similar to the Spectrum in London? Well, actually, Ron, I can tell you Spectrum radio's changed now. It's a talk station. It's no longer hiring hours out like it used to. And would internet I can't see the point. Honestly, I know, and I'm not going to mention the name. This is going to wind everybody up in the UK. I know that a certain radio station is about to start its AM service.
Yeah.
Do I think it's going to be popular? No.
No.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. It is. I understand why it's done. I respect the fact why the person's doing it. I honour the views that he's got for doing it. But as to it being minuscule success, no, absolutely not. People just don't use it anymore. And to be honest, Ron, I don't even have a radio aerial on my car. Nothing there at all. Don't have one.
I don't have one on my truck either, because you made me one out of a coat hanger and it scratched the roof.
Well, he comes down to a hotel with me and says, I broke my aerial, my radio won't work. So I make him an aerial, and then he moans because he broke it again.
Yeah, because he was having it on my roof. It was like it was permanently raining.
Good afternoon to Martin. In 2017, I can think of some words to describe this, and unfortunately, my brain goes back to the early 1940s, knowing the country in question. And that's where my brain goes back to in history, even though I wasn't around then, before anybody says anything. A Spanish judge has issued an arrest warrant for the deposed Catalan leader, who was the president of Catalan. And they've got this draconian law that says if you go and do something, it's called rebellion. Now, the people in question were voted in by the electorate. Most of them are already in prison. Hello? This is 2017. The chances are that the former deposed president will not get out. If he comes back to Spain, he'll be arrested. He won't get out of prison before the next elections are held, which is in December. So whichever way it comes round, the people in charge of of Spain, will control what happens in the future, because the ousted president could not stand for re-election because he'd be in prison.
Well, yeah, and this is all actually quite divisive, isn't it?
Yes.
And is it wrong for a separate entity within a country to want to go on its own? And what's the benefit to it not doing? And this is what's never really discussed. The benefits, the reason Spain wants to keep Catalan as part of its entity, where is the benefit? And also what's the disbenefit to Catalan?
It's money and money.
That's right. That's all it boils down to.
Absolutely. It's just greed.
Yep.
It's absolute greed. Tim, hang on. No, I've got to do this. Hello, Jill Mason.
Hello, Jill.
From Bedfordshire. No, Bedfordshire. We know Jill. She's lovely lady, our Jill, by the way. Very nice lady. Tim's responded from Israel. Don't see much point in simulcasting internet content on a lo-fi system with a declining listenership. He means AM, and he suffixes the whole thing with sorry. And I quite agree with you, Tim. Leigh's not going to like the next story.
I might do.
He probably won't.
Go on then.
AIBO. You've got to look up AIBO. AIBO.
Yeah.
AIBO. It's Sony's new robot dog.
Why won't I like this?
Because you'll say I'm being a techie anorak again.
Well, I can be a techie anorak as well. You tell this story to the nice ladies and gentlemen, and then I'll tell you the true story about it.
Well, Yeah, right. Anything to do with technology and Leigh. Mm-hmm. Anyway, Sony have brought... You may remember years and years and years... I've got to be going back nearly 20 years, I guess, when the first little robo-dog came out that would bark, ask to be fed, and would react to the things around it by IR, infrared. And now, after all this long time, Sony have been... actually, it does tell you here, it's 20 years roughly since they've been developing these new things. But I'm not happy with this new one.
Why?
Well, the dog, which is scheduled to be released in Japan only at the moment, in January, will cost £1,300.
Yeah.
To make it work as an interactive dog, you've then got to take out a 3-year subscription to the Sony servers at £600.
£1,800 for a dog.
Right now, we've not finished. We've not finished.
Yeah.
If you drop it and break it, that's tough luck, obviously.
Yeah.
But they're offering discounts on repairs of damage or malfunction for 3 years. A further £356.
Two grandish.
Yeah.
That's nice. That's nice to have a little doggy woggy.
Little doggy woggy?
Yeah, that goes 1, 1, 1 instead of bark, bark, bark.
Yes.
Let me advance.
I got him, boys and girls. He was silent for at least a millisecond.
I was just wondering why they've got the dog saying 1, 1, 1 instead of bark, bark, bark.
Well, because it's from Sony.
And so what? So these dogs go 1, 1, 1.
Steve is on fire. Steve is on fire. I think he's had a little rub of the shoulders with Billy Connolly. He said the dog is still cheaper than a wife. Boom!
Well said.
Hang on, I've got to do it again. Hold on, sorry. Steve says, still cheaper than a wife. Boom, just to be like a very terribly American. £2,000 now.
I have a 1990s robot in my house at this minute, and it is sitting by my side. And it is absolute genius. It has a little armband, and you flash your armband, and it goes in the direction you point the armband. So I can sit here in my lounge while my wonderful, wonderful young lady, Andrea, is in the kitchen or in a different part of the house, and I can send my robot into the kitchen. She puts a bottle of beer in the tray in its hand, and it brings it back.
Yeah, I know. They've got it's sort of the butler thing, isn't it?
That's it. It's genius. Yeah. It's my best friend.
Well, anyway, Robin D. Hello, Robin. Robin says he's much cheaper than a real pedigree dog, and that is very true, Robin. Very, very true.
Yeah, very true.
Absolutely.
And it behave better.
Yes.
And it won't bark. It'll go
my Lord. The time is eating into our programme. I'm going to move on to some quick stories. Non-smokers at a Tokyo firm have been given a breath of fresh air by their employers.
They have.
If you give up smoking for this particular company, it's a marketing firm called Piala. And if you stop smoking, they give you 6 extra days holiday a year.
That's right. So you can nip out and have a fag.
I wonder if anybody does that. They can survive all day, and then when they go to work, they don't have to sort of smokish, or perhaps you put those things on your arm, those plasters.
Well, when I used to smoke, I was working at a national newspaper in the Birmingham area, and funnily enough, I was always the same. I wouldn't smoke during the day. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't smoke at all. But as soon as I arrived at work, because smoking was allowed on the premises at that time, I'd start to smoke. And everybody was the same. It was the stress of the job, the intensity of it, but everybody would sit there chain smoking, and that office smelled awful. Then finally they gave us a smoking room within the building. That was disgusting. I've never been in anywhere like that. So that's how we all ended up out on the street. Luckily, I do not smoke anymore, I'm pleased to say.
What do you know? This is getting beyond belief.
Oh no!
On Facebook, people are answering questions for us before we have to answer them.
Before we even ask them.
Well, yes, because Steve says, before you go, this is my first time. Well, you're very welcome anytime, Steve. Are you on every day? To which Miranda says, weekly show, Steve. Steve says, thanks. I'm redundant. I'm just going to sit here and look at the camera. Do nothing else.
Do your own shows.
Anyway, a Japanese food firm has developed a noise-cancelling fork to get rid of the, because the Japanese are very socially awkward in many things. But when you're having your noodles and it goes...
Yeah, the sucky bit.
Yeah, and you're slurping away. And apparently they've built this fork, which has a microphone to detect offending slurps and triggers a smartphone app to mask the sound.
It's an interesting thing. Are we too sensitive at the noises of eating? I have to say that I personally are really offended by other people eating in a noisy fashion.
Yep.
There are lots of reasons for that. But should we be really wound up by the noise of other people eating?
It depends on what they're doing.
Eating. That's
No,
what
but other people do other things like, you're in a restaurant, all of a sudden you hear, and you think, oh, come on, go to the bathroom.
No, sometimes you can't.
Why not?
Right, here's a true story.
No, we're not doing the dog story in the underpants ever again.
No, not that one at all.
No, I've got to get. We got seconds, and I've got to get a couple more stories in. Lee's advised us that the British National Lottery odds are the worst in the world, which is driving a lot of punters, as they call gamblers, to spend their money abroad on the Euro Millions. That's rather a shame, isn't it?
It is, but it's when you think the odds of scoring big on the UK lottery are 14 million to 1. So to win once, you've got to spend £14 million.
Yeah, and there was the British government this week saying gambling's really bad, and we're going to reduce the money that you can win in slot machines because you're out of control with your gambling and yada 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 yada. The fact is, it's no different to being addicted to anything else. If you don't seek help, you could well stay the same. I'm addicted to food.
And here's a really good one. And I'm addicted to Andrea.
Oh, you creep. You rotten, horrible creep. Steve says he hopes that we don't get replaced by a robot. That's all right, isn't it?
Well, replace Eric.
What was that bleep?
What bleep? I didn't bleep.
Somebody just bleeped.
That was me. That was me.
She's there.
She's got like half a minute.
Yeah. I deeply apologise, but I'm here. I got it wrong. You guys went off your daylight saving, and I got it wrong. I didn't realise.
Well, hello, Rach. Would you like to do the whole news in 1 minute on your own?
It was a really bad day and a really great day.
All right. If anybody's looking for the best employee in the world in Australia, Rachel's up for any offers as long as it's over $60,000.
That's correct.
That was pretty good, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Good. Are you all right?
Yes, I'm
right.
all right.
In which case, can you tell us what you're going to be doing this weekend, Rach? Because we're there.
Well, I'll probably be feeling pretty foolish about what I just did.
Poor Rach. Poor Rach. But never mind. You'll be pleased to know, Rach, that a new listener, Steve Mann, has been keeping Leigh in order.
Oh, really? Oh, good.
He's been having a great banter. Just a great banter it was. And Steve put him in his place more than once.
Good on you, Steve.
Yeah, you see. You get love from Australia, Steve, for all your hard work. So you're not going out partying or anything then?
Nah.
So, as bizarre as this sounds, Rach, hello, it's now time to say goodbye.
Hello, goodbye.
Goodbye, Rach, you silly, silly woman.
What are you doing, Leigh, at the weekend?
I'm not telling you because you won't let me tell me thing about pumping.
But no, because you're not even going to say goodbye in a second.
I might just say goodbye. Thank you very much. Bye, everybody. Bye. No, there's still minutes to go.
There is not.
What clock? Rachel. He just makes things up, doesn't he, Ray?
57, 56, 55 seconds to go. Anyway, with that, I will say I have to go and get my lovely wife, because we don't buy her anything anymore, because I always get it wrong. So we will go shopping for the birthday present that she wants.
That's good. That's the way it should be.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. If that's what you think. What can I say? It's time to say goodbye, everybody. Thank you so much for your input this week. Greatly appreciated, all of it. We'll see Leigh and possibly Rachel next week at the correct time of the morning or the evening, depending on where you happen to be. I've got to do that and that, otherwise I'll make a mistake like I did last week, which I'm not going to do this week. Goodbye to everybody on Facebook. Thank you very much for your company. Superb, as always. And all the people that watch it a bit later on. How weird is that? Goodbye, everybody.
From the heart of Europe to the world, this is RTI.